Hello out there, people of the interwebs. This is Bracey coming at you once again for the Comic Crusaders. Here we are doing a special interview for one of the authors of the segments of the comic Voices That Count. I'd like to introduce you all to Patricia Campos.
Hi, how are you?
That was my pleasure. My pleasure. I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I am super happy to be here with you and Alex for this opportunity because it's my first interview in the States regarding this book. So I am super excited. So thank you very much for having me here.
Oh, very welcome. We're always excited to have first-timers on our show. We love introducing people to a wider audience and being the one that shines a light on new creators like yourself. So first and foremost, as somebody who is a new creator, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? What's your background, a little bit of your story?
So my name is Patricia. I am from Spain. So I study journalism, but my dream all my life was to be a pilot, a Navy pilot. So in 1980 was difficult for a woman to be a pilot in the Navy because we don't have women. We didn't have women in the Navy being a pilot. So everybody was telling me, don't do that. This is not for you. You cannot do it. And I was thinking like, okay, thank you for the suggestion, but I'm going to do it and I'm going to make it. So thank you. So I started university, journalism. And when I finished university, I decided to apply for the Navy test from the government. So we were like more or less 200 people and 4 or 5 women. So it was very hard for me because I didn't have a military background. Because in Spain, when you are applying for an exam, you have military background. They give you points. So I didn't have any. I started from zero. So I studied very hard. I fight very hard, and I did it. So I was super mega happy to be a jet pilot in the Spanish Navy because it was my dream. No, it was a dream coming through. So I was very happy, and then I love soccer too, as you know, and soccer is my passion also, and I wanted to be a professional soccer player, but I couldn't do it, no, because in 1990, 2000 in Spain, women cannot be professional regarding to soccer like in the States. And when I finished my military career, I went to the States to be the soccer coach. So I'm very happy.
That's kind of surprising to me, considering that maybe I'm just out of it because I'm not a big follower of soccer. Obviously, I'm more into things like American football. But soccer is such a, or as I'm sure you call it in Europe, football as well. Soccer is such a, it's such a prevalent sport. And I know there's women's teams and women's leagues. I would have thought by the 1990s that would have been a lot more acceptable.
So in the States, you have a professional soccer players. You can live being a soccer player in the States. Coaches, children know the soccer players, but in Spain now is growing. Thank you to Barcelona because they are doing the things very, very well. But it's little by little we are fighting for women's rights regarding to professionalism. But it's like slow. So we are achieving things, no? But every time Barcelona wins a trophies, like repercussion in the media, visibility, but it's hard for the rest of the teams to have this visibility, to have money, to have TV or newspapers talking about women, soccer in women. So it's hard, but we had to copy from you in the States because I was working there like a coach, and for me it was like, wow, you have every option for every woman to be a soccer player, to be a coach, and we had to copy. When you travel to a place, Bracey, I think that you have to copy the things that they're good for you, for your country. In this case, in a sport in your country is better than in mine.
Well, I'm so glad you were able to come over here and to achieve another one of your dreams. So very good for that. Being ex-military about myself, I'm very interested in your military career, which is the first half of your story. So I want to ask you about that. So you do state that it was very difficult to be not just a female pilot, but the first female pilot. You're that trailblazer, and I was wondering how did you make that if it's so stacked against you? How were you able to actually get into a system that's so closed to women? Do you understand the question? I'm sorry.
So yes, I hear perfectly question. So when I was studying journalism, when I finished, I see the document from the government that said that everybody who had 18 years old, or is a human being, you can apply for the exam. And I said, I am 24 years old, I am a human being, I'm going to apply. Because the government said that women, we can be a pilot too. So yeah, I apply. So I apply, I passed the test. So I remember being in Madrid during 1 week doing exams. Exam was very hard. And I remember something that in that moment was scared me. I taller than me, bigger, that she tried to scare me, telling me that, watch out, a woman alone in Madrid, something can happen to you. So for me, like I am from a little town, going to Madrid is a big city, I was scared enough. So the thing that he was telling me was like, oh my God, something is going to happen to me. So when I finished the exams and ran to my hotel, because I was scared really. Maybe now I wasn't scared, no? But before for me it was like, wow. So he didn't think that scared me. So the last day we were doing the last test, running test. And he came to me and he told me, watch out, maybe you fall down, run.
Okay, Patricia, the as you say in the comics, and especially the time period for the Spanish Navy back at the time, it was very difficult to get in and achieve your dream of being a pilot. Can you tell us how you were able to do that with all that pressure going against you? It wasn't a very friendly thing to do at the time.
Yeah, so I think you have to believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That all the inputs I was receiving, that don't do it, you're not going to do that, it's too difficult, it's for men, you can be a flight attendant. But no, I said I want to be a pilot in the Navy, so I'm going to study very hard. I remember working, being a waitress, doing whatever I had to do, then stay during the night, so to achieve my dream. And I arrived that day, was 1 week in Madrid doing exams, and I am from a little town, so for me going to Madrid was like, wow. It's now when I go to Madrid, it's like, wow, because it's too big for me. So I was there alone in a hotel, and we like maybe 200 people was there doing the exams, 4 or 5 girls, and I met a guy, and maybe he doesn't remember this story, but I remember because I was scared. So he came to me, and he told me that, watch out, in Madrid, a woman alone, something can happen to you. And I said, oh my God, what happened here? ¿Esto qué es, no? So I remember when I finished the exams, I ran to my hotel because I was scared. I didn't know what that means with that. So he wasn't happy with that. So last day when we were doing the running, the physical test, he came to me and said, watch out, maybe you can fall down and you're not going to pass this test. And I thought, oh, he's going to push me. So I had to be separated from him to pass, because they don't repeat the test. You fail, you are done. So we start running, and he came close to me, but I ran and I finished, and he fell down. So this is the karma.
Karma.
So I passed the exam, and I went to the south of Spain. They have a military Navy base. It's called Rota Naval Base because we share the base with the States. And was like, oh my God, the blue sky, the cloud was like the Simpson movie. Like, I am here, I'm going to fly in a few days. This is like, wow. But what happened, Blaze? I was there, I need to go to the toilet. And I asked a person there, can you tell me what is the toilet? Oh, my officer, we don't have toilet for women, 2005. And I said, what? Are you kidding me? Yes, so from what day, in 2016, every time I want to go to the toilet, I had to take my car and go to my house. So it was like, wow. So the government said, you can be a pilot in the Navy, but they didn't want that really. So and being the only one and the first one, I couldn't open more doors. So it was kind of hard, but I have friends. I have 2 friends. They protected me. They tell me, watch out, be careful. Good. And I live situations that nobody deserves. And I think that with voices that count, we can pass through future generations that the things like that, but we can change it. So I think the goal of this book is that, this is the reality. Don't do it again, and respect your daughters, your wife, your sister, because they can be the same situation I was. And it's hard to be alone, to think that it's your fault, to think that you don't deserve to be here when the only thing I did was pass an exam. But I think I am stronger. I am a better person thanks to this situation, and I tell you something, Blaze, it's not going to happen to me again. I'm going to be strong and brave and say, stop. So I was
Well,
young, so now I am old now.
you are certainly all of that after reading your story. And personally, I've always thought, maybe I'm wrong because I'm not a pilot myself. I was in a medical support battalion, so I was on the
Wow.
ground. But
Congratulations.
thank you. I've always thought that women would make excellent combat pilots because I think your physiology would really be of benefit when performing the Hicks maneuver at high G combat. You know, you have to perform that maneuver to keep the blood up in your body so you don't lose consciousness while you're flying. And one thing that impressed me is, and I've heard this from other things when I think about the story in America of Jackie Robinson, who opened the trail for black people to be part of the Major League Baseball. You know, somebody's always got to be the first, and that first person takes all the heat. Is you said, like, you can't have any flaws, you have to be the best. And I'm sure that experience gave you determination like no other. If you have to constantly prove yourself, if you have to be the best one, then you have to be the best.
You have to be perfect, not the best, perfect. Why? Because when you are different, because you are white or black, you have a different religion, you are a woman in a world of men, you have to be perfect because they are following you. They are watching at you 24 hours per day, 7 days of a week, 30 days of a month, all the year. You have to be perfect. So they are not, but you have to be perfect because you are the only one and you are getting all the attention. So it's true. So when you are the first one or the only one, because it's 2022 and nobody followed me. So I was the first one and I am the first one. And I am now because no girls doing that. They are clever than me, Bracey. So,
Please continue.
No, it's hard to maintain your perfection because nobody's perfect. I did mistakes and I do mistakes. So trying to see somebody is making a mistake is obvious because we are human beings. But where you are different, you have to be perfect 24 hours per day.
Has anybody followed in your footsteps since then?
No, in the Navy, no. We have pilots in the Air Force, some of them. No, don't, mira, in Spain, we have 7% civilian pilots are women, 7%. In Spain, we have 3% women are pilots in the Air Force, but not in the Navy. So we have Air Force women pilot, but in the Navy, I am the first one. I am the only one.
Well, that's a shame. Usually when somebody is that trailblazer, it opens the doors for others to follow. And hopefully in the future that will change. You know, if they're accepting women as pilots in the Air Force, hopefully at some point they'll accept them in the Navy as well.
No, I hope so. In fact, in your country, you have a lot of women pilots in the Air Force, in the Navy. So for you guys, it's normal. But in Spain, it's like, so maybe my thing is that maybe we are a small country. We are 42 million of people. Maybe women, they don't know they can apply for this exam, but or maybe they hear me on television telling them, don't do it, so they don't do it. No, thank you. Or maybe they read Voices Thou Can't in Spain and they think, we are not going to do it. Thank you, Patricia. You are the stupid one.
Oh, yeah, you might have quite a point there. It could be a cultural thing, whereas here, you know, America is kind of founding on the idea is like you can be whatever you want to be. You know, we grow up being told like anybody can be president if you want to. The land of opportunity and achievement. So hopefully your voice and others will be able to change things in your homeland of Spain.
So this is the point of Voices That Count. I think that every story we have 9 stories representing different women, very important women, journalists, TVP hosters, writers, singers, film directors. So every woman has a story of mental health problems, chauvinism, so they can show the rest of Spain, the rest of the state that please respect women because we are the 50% of the world and we are human beings too. So give us the same opportunity and treat us properly because we don't do anything wrong for being a woman. So in Europe, we are lucky, that we have rights in the States, but you go to Africa, it's a disaster. Women is like the worst of the thing in the society.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to get into that because that was the second part of your story, which was just as interesting and even more courageous, in my opinion. One thing I want to say is like as a comic book fanatic from the time I was a child, as I grew, I began to get into fringe, independent, alternative comics. And I remember seeing these sort of slice of life stories and people telling their own stories. I remember reading a very fascinating comic about a woman who was experiencing being a lesbian and how to come out as a lesbian, and all the things that were going through her head at the time, which especially in the time that she wrote it, this was back in the 80s, and so it might have even been closer to the 70s for her that this was happening. I don't remember the time frame. Everything isn't quite as open as it is now, but it was really interesting getting that thought process. And so I really like this comic because it's no longer as kind of like a fringe independent thing. Now we can see people's personal stories, getting to know you through your personal story, getting to know these other people through their personal stories. And I think as humans, we are completely fascinated by other humans. I mean, this is why when we have documentaries about human behavior, or gosh, God help me, reality TV seems to be something that people can't get away from because we're just fascinated by watching ourselves.
No, you're right, because all the stories, they are full of intimacy. So all the writers and the illustrators, they are amazing. In my case, Sarah Soler does an amazing job, fabulous. So representing what I wanted to say. So it's something personal. So all the stories that you read, or the people are going to read in the state, they are for real. They are realistic. They are intimate. So we can learn from each other. So when I read both voices that count, I learn from the other writers, from the illustrators, because they tell me something that I didn't know. So the important when you read a book is you are learning. You have information that you didn't have before. So it's good to read. Plus, in the States, as you said, you have a different culture from Spain. So maybe for you, being a woman pilot is like, okay, you can do it, but here it's the same. At least before, when I was born in the 80s, it's like, oh, this is a job for a man. You cannot do that. So we are like, thank you to the Time's Up, the Me Too movement in the States. Women, we have more power, empowerment. No, power is different, empowerment. But anyway, in 2022, we need to be more strong with our ideas, fight for ourselves. Because in my case, for example, Bracey, I began to fight when I was a child because I wanted to play soccer, and they tell me you cannot play soccer because you are a little girl. I wanted to play the trumpet. No, this is for men. And then I wanted to be a pilot. Oh my God, are you crazy? So I had to fight, and again fight to have something that for me is normal for a human being.
Wow, it sounds like everything you wanted to do was supposed to be for men over there.
Yes, sorry,
It's like
sorry.
even playing a musical instrument. No, that one's for men too. It's like, no wonder you ended up
Yes.
coming over here. So let's talk about that. That's the kind of the middle section of the book. What the story? Why did you decide on the United States? What brought you over here so that you could teach and enjoy soccer as you always wished to?
So I was telling you that I was in the Navy, but I achieved to be an helicopter pilot, a jet pilot. I get on board the ships, so I had a lot of good experiences, but I wasn't really happy because the atmosphere was not like I like it. That respect,
Mm-hmm.
women rights, and I feel like I'm comfy. So oh my God, I am super young. I cannot fight against these people because they have a lot of power. So I had to go for my mental health. So what I can do, because I love flying and I love soccer, but in Spain I cannot live because they are not going to pay me for being a soccer player. So I can go to Japan, I can go to the States. Obviously, for culture reason, for the language, I went to the States and I started to coach in California. That I was impressed for your sportive culture, for the way you are. You are amazing people, very welcoming. It's true that I
Oh,
am white.
thank you.
This is for me being white. Maybe when people from other countries arrive to a stage and they don't have the same features in your face is different. For me, it was super easy.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, you very nice people. They treat me super well because I came from from Spain and they know that we play soccer really well. So everything was super nice. Then I went to Hawaii. That for me was like, wow, oh my God, this is the paradise. So I was coaching soccer over there too. So I had everything with things from the States because you treat me really well.
That's fantastic. We're glad you were able to come here and really come into your own as you wish to. That's really what the American dream is all about, is finding those opportunities and having the opportunity to achieve them. And your experience is very fascinating because I can see how all of this led you to where you are now, which is going out and providing these opportunities for others. So let's talk about your going to Uganda. First of all, why did you choose Uganda?
So I am a volunteer since I was a child because my mother was volunteer too and she brought me with her. So I like to meet people different from me because if I talk with people like me, it's like I know all the information, but I'm talking people like you right now, I can learn from you or from another people. So I like to be a volunteer. So I think, okay, I like that, but I want to go to a country that they don't have the basic things like food, security, medical assistance, education. So in Spain we have that, in Europe we have that, in the States you have that, but I need to look for a country. So what is the worst situation in Africa for women? And I found was Uganda. So then I thought, so how can I help them? So I know how to play soccer a little bit, I know how to fly a plane a little bit, but I don't have a plane to put everybody inside the plane. I bring them to Spain. So maybe using soccer like a strategy to give visibility to all these women. No, maybe in Euro they saw us, they see us, and they can help us. So I did that. I went to Uganda with a soccer ball and myself. Don't do it, Bracey, because it's dangerous. But I did it. So when I arrived, I was a white woman. They call me Musungu because Musungu means white person in Uganda language.
Which is the title of her story, folks.
Musungu. So I was there and I tried to explain to them that I would like to play soccer with women, and they told me that, are you crazy? No, women don't play soccer here. Women are here to have a lot of children because if your wife has a lot of children, you are more powerful like a man. So I tried to convince them, like talking to them every day, blah, 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 blah. At the end, they told me, okay, try it. So I took wives, sisters, children, and we play soccer, not in a soccer field because they don't have. It's like a mountain full of trash, and we tried to clean it. And all the men in the community, they were watching us, laughing at us, throwing us stones. It was like, oh my God. So when I finished, I remember that one of them told me, you are lying, you are a man. Y yo digo, I am a man. Digo, no, I am a woman.
That's one of the things that really shocked me when I was reading the story is like they accuse you of being a man because you played soccer. I was like, wow.
So they didn't know I was a pilot, but I don't say that because they don't believe me for sure. So this obvious, they go, no, I'm not going to say it because no, they're not going to believe me.
I'm sure they think from their perspective, oh, those crazy white people will say anything.
sí, correct. So I start to play with women with HIV, with children, and then I think, okay, I thought, if I play soccer only with women, okay, they are having more health, more fun, my attention, because they don't have anything. They don't have even food. They breakfast plans, for lunch they have plans, tea, or they eat plants, and for dinner is the same. So I want to do something with men because for me the important is that they respect them. Because you know what, first as men, then children, boys, then animals, and finally women. So we are the last thing of the society. So I invite them to play soccer with us. So they didn't want to play soccer with us because I was playing with children, girls, and women with HIV. So having HIV in Uganda means that if I see you and you have HIV, you're going to pass me the HIV. So it's totally wrong. Totally wrong. It's disinformation, no education. And I said, you want to play with me with my ball, you have to follow my rules. Because I brought ball from Spain. So they thought, oh, I want to play with that ball. So we start to play together, but wasn't like men against women. So it was mixed, like co-ed teams.
Yeah, I noticed you had the boys team, you had the girls team, you had the women's team, and you had like the HIV team for people who felt more comfortable being like that.
But then I mixed it together because I wanted that when the girls score a goal, they said, hey, congratulations, well done, oh my God, what a goal. Because give me a lot of happiness when I do that, when I play soccer, and I thought, it happened to me, can happen to them. So at the end, I put rules like, you are not going to score. She's going to score. Why? Because I said that I am the coach. She's going to score. So when she scored, they pass the ball to her and they celebrating. Oh, so they forgot about the HIV and the things. So for me, it was like, wow. And then instead of telling them bad things like, oh, you have HIV, you are nothing. Hey, hola, Jennifer. Hola, Jessica. They say hi to them because they were being in the same team. They part of the team. So they make an effort together to win a game. So it was like when you practice a sport is very important because it's like they join the friendship, the people, independent of your race or your culture.
That's very true. Like not just in sports, but also my experience in the military. one of the first things they do when we go through our basic training is they forge you into a team. You have to be a team or everybody fails, everybody gets punished. So it becomes in your best interest for everybody to work together. And because you're all under the same pressure, the same stress, you form these lifelong friendships. So that's very smart. What you've done here is you gave them their separate things, and then you start to integrate them, and they get that camaraderie, and they come to a point of seeing each other as team, as opposed to identifying somebody as boy, girl, or a disease even, which you gave those people back their humanity, which bravo on that.
So honestly, they brought me to the humanity because they are amazing people. So I cannot see myself without food, without water, without education. Imagine. So they don't have anything of that, and they are stronger than us. They run faster than me. They fight more than me. So for me, it's amazing that when I took the plane from Rota, the south of Spain, it's 10 minutes only, Bracey, to do like that. From Rota to Africa, 10 minutes. So I am super lucky. For 10 minutes, I was born in Spain. If I was born in Africa, I wasn't here talking to you for sure. So every time I go to Africa, I try to go twice per year. For me, it's amazing. They keep going with their life without no hope, without nothing, and they keep fighting, playing soccer, telling me, thank you for coming. We spent a great time. Thank you to you for having me here, because for me, it's amazing learning from you every time that I can come to Africa.
So not only was this a very humane thing for you to do, because I love hearing stories of people who go out and actually make the world better. But I find it to be quite courageous, because when I started doing my research in Uganda, I've done some research on some other countries. I have created a superhero that I haven't like published anything, but I created a superhero for Papua New Guinea, a woman named the Cassowary, because I was reading about all the terrible violent crimes that are perpetrated on women over there, for any offense, perceived or real. So I was like, those women deserve somebody to basically kind of avenge them on the street. So I created a vigilante hero for that. And so
Congratulations.
thank you. It's just, I don't need to be congratulated for doing something that just seemed obvious to me. When I look at your story though, and reading about what you were facing in Uganda, I couldn't help but think, like, it's like you said, it might have been brave, it might have been foolish, because that sounds like that sounds very daunting, going into a country where like you're cut off from any support system that you know of. We hear people can disappear into a country when they're going to a foreign country. Nobody's there to help you. You're the outsider. You're the foreigner. How did you manage that? Where did that courage, where that bravery come from to get out there and knock on people's doors and engage with them and having to deal with 54 different languages?
54. Well, I think I didn't think too much about it, because if I think it like that, it's like right now it's like, oh my God, no. I thought about the things I was going to do. So practice a sport, tell them that they need to know how to read, how to do mathematics, because it's important for them. That using soccer to have a profession, like can be a soccer coach, can be a referee, can be a soccer player. So telling them that I am a woman, but all the things they are telling you, this is a lie. You have the potential to study, to do things. The only thing you are doing here is having children, but they tell you that, but it's a lie, because I am a woman. And if you can do it, you can do it. I know it's a different environment, but I mean that you can study. You are not stupid. You are clever than me, so do it. So we went to a school. We tried to teach these women to how to read, to tell them how to do mathematics, because you cannot progress if you don't know how to read, or you don't know how to do mathematics. It's obvious. So I was hard for me, sad for me, seeing the situation. I was scared, obviously, because something happened to me different times, because I was alone. But I think God or the universe protect me. I am here talking to you, but I was super scared, because imagine you are the only woman, white, in a country that they don't respect women. You don't have the protection of anybody. Spain is not like the States, so something happened to me. Who knows what is going to happen? Who's going to save me? But I was lucky. I met a person, Teacher Grace, the owner of the school. I was teaching Spanish in the school, geography, talking about different things, because I respect their culture. I try to explain to them that it's not nice to hit women or to hit animals, that we are human beings. Please don't do that. at least in front of me, because we don't do that in Europe, but it's their culture. So I cannot go there to say, don't do that, because I am not the right person to say that. So it's dangerous because the president of Uganda, he doesn't like people like us, because one year I was there to bring glasses because people, they have suffered a lot for the sun. So somebody told the president knows that you are giving glasses free. She's going to fire you from the country, or you can disappear. Because something happened like that to a doctor from Australia. She tried to give away computers, and the men disappeared from Uganda. So nothing, we don't know what happened with him. So it's a dangerous country because they don't respect anything. So it's a pity, because it's a beautiful country, people are amazing, but the government is too corrupt to help people.
And that makes your story all the more amazing, considering everything that you were up against. You know, like, I didn't know Uganda had, for instance, 54 different dialects, and you went house to house talking to parents, trying to convince them. And not only did you approach the children, something that was a little bit shocking to me is, like, I understood there were orphans there, and you collected the orphans, but you said a lot of the parents you talked to were former orphans themselves. Like, wow,
And
it's so many things.
With no English, Bracey, no English, nothing. Ball, soccer, jugar, come on. So I forced them, come with me. So, because imagine that they live in little houses, but little, like I'm here, like that, like 12 people, 15 people, imagine in the pandemic, imagine. So I bring up all the people to come with me, play with me. And the mother was like, because they don't talk too much. So when the father was there was complicated, but when the mother was there, okay, so they come with me. And a lot of people was against me, because it's like, you are doing something that is supposed women they don't do. But for example, the group of HIV people, I was worried because I am not a doctor, so I didn't know if I force them to play soccer, it's going to be good for them or bad for them. But they are better than me, so they run fast, they fight, so they don't have families, because some of them they have HIV because they were raped. Some of them they have HIV because the husband had HIV and they took care of the husband, and they get infected because they don't know how to not get infected. So women with children, they have HIV. So from 13 years old is my youngest player to 60 years old is my goalkeeper. So it was good for them because they get together, they have something fun, they practice sport, they are with me, we are helping them the way we can, no? Because after my experiences 2 years in Uganda, we did a non-profit organization called Goals for Freedom, Goals por la Libertad. So we are doing now in a school for these women and children, because being in the street is dangerous for them. So at least they can be inside the school, they can have education. But we are only 4 members on the non-profit organization. We are a small one, but we are trying doing charitable soccer games. So we are trying to have money to send to Uganda to build the school. But we had to do that. We had to be person of action, because imagine you are the one who is there, or I am the one who is there, or your children, my children. It's unfair, because God put you in America, God put me in Spain, but what happened? God put me in Africa. Disaster. So at least as we can do something with him. We can do something. Instead, you can do something little, but at least it's something positive for the society, because when we are right there, they don't have anything. Now they have soccer balls. They are going to have in a school. They meet people from another countries that they are telling them, you are intelligent, you can do whatever you want. So they are little things, but they can change the society, I think.
I think one of the most applause-worthy thing you did is you went to somebody else's country, and you didn't just try and push your values and things. You saw a need for betterment, but you did it by also respecting the culture that you were there in. So that's a very laudable thing to do. So well played on that. If you want to affect change, you shouldn't come at it in a hostile and aggressive manner. I think you were very smart to approach it the way you did, and now you are getting these people a level of education they haven't had before, and fostering a greater sense of community for all of the people, and not just some of the people. So hats off.
So Thank you, but I'm sure I did a lot of mistakes, but I think that when you come to my country, you like that you respect my culture. So I go to a country, I have to respect their culture. Obviously, I'm not agree with this culture that treat bad women and children, obviously, but it's like you cannot go there to say, this is bad, this is wrong. No, I am nobody to say that. So I am not perfect. So I try to explain how is the life in my country, in Europe, in my continent, so they can say, oh, this is good. They have education, they don't hit each other. They don't beat each other. So we can do here the same, but I am not the person to say that. The person who has to say that is the government, is the education system in Uganda. Because I am not there every day. So I try when I was there to give an example, not my example, no, example of my society, that we have to treat people the same way that we want people treat us.
Yeah, I think that was the way of it. Is like you gave them an example of how things could be, and let them see the rightness or wrongness of it, and hopefully more and more people will make the decision to go like, oh, this is better. It's going to be better for all of us. So, do you have plans to take this to other countries, or are you just primarily focused on Uganda? Because there are many places in the world that could use programs like this.
I would love to do that. In fact, it's my dream to go to another countries in Africa, to another countries in Asia, because I think that through the sport you can do a lot of things. Because people love the sport, and soccer, it's international sport that maybe you are not too much in soccer, but you know the rules. You know that you cannot touch the ball with the hand. So it's like a standard. You don't need anything, because in Africa, when the balls are broken or disappear, we play with balls that they prepare made of banana trees. So you don't need anything, even a field. So I can do that in other countries, but the thing is that we are like a non-profit organization that for people. So we had to work to go to Africa because we pay for everything. So I wish I have the power or the money to travel to other countries to do the same program. So if somebody's listening to us here in this event, or please help us in
Yes,
Uganda, they can move to other countries to build the schools and to play sport with children and women and men too, of course.
that's absolutely fantastic. And of course, we have Patricia's information down here. So please, if your heart is moved to help out, there's a means of contacting her right there.
I'm
Now,
going to write the non-profit organization goals for freedom.com, only in case somebody wants to help us. And they can see photos, videos of the school, videos of the
excellent.
games, everything.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, let me ask you my last series of questions, which is basically the thing that brought you here to us: comic books. How did this happen? How did you end up as part of this anthology? Had you ever had an interest in comics? Did somebody just hear your story like, that sounds like that'd be an amazing story, I would like to tell it in graphic form? How did this happen?
So I don't know, comics in Spain, Zipizape, Mortadelo y Filemón.
I am not familiar with comics in Spain outside of what I've read in the pages of, say, heavy Metal Hurlant.
So I like to read comics from my brother, superheroes, comics from another cartoons. So I love it, but I stopped reading that when I was a teenager because I read another book from the school, from the high school, university, and then my editor in Planeta, David Hernando, that thank you to him, I am here, so thank you to David too. So proposed me to appear in Voices That Count. And I said, wow, what is that? Graphic novel. Graphic novel? So my mind was that I know about comics, but I didn't know that graphic novels exist. So he told me, I'm going to send you several graphic novels. So I started reading. I said, wow, this is amazing because you can read a real good book. You don't have time. You are working. You're in a hurry. You can have the information, read it, enjoy your time. So I recommend a graphic novel to everybody, but some people they don't want to read because I don't like it, it's too boring, I don't have time. So it's a good way to start reading is using graphic novels because it's like reading, illustration, and it's fun. And you can read like a book that maybe for a starter is too heavy. In the way that the graphic novel is done, is better and it's easy. So for me, it was like, wow, I like that. I would like to do that. So thank you to Planeta, to David Hernando. It was very nice. No, the sellings in Spain was good. So we are trying to do that in the States too. And maybe next year we have another book. So we pray.
Oh, fantastic! Because you're right. The graphic novel format, like you said, if you don't have time to read a novel or even a novella, this gives you the points, and it's very digestible and something you can just read in an afternoon, and perhaps that will lead you to a larger thing, like, oh, like this is a graphic novel of an actual novel. I've done that many times myself. I've
Mm-hmm.
found a graphic novel that was an adaptation of a film or a book that I hadn't seen
Me too.
before, led me right to it. So that's fantastic. I'm glad you had this further opportunity, which has of course brought you to us, and now many more people are being exposed to who you are and what you've done and what these other fabulous creators in the anthology have to say. And there's definitely a market out there for these slice of life stories. It's very popular here in the United States in webcomic format. A lot of people who haven't been able to publish physical documents have told their stories on the web. A very good friend of mine has told his trans story on the. Well, I guess I should say her. I met him when he was a guy, so I keep thinking guy, even though he looks like a girl now. A fellow named Christian Bernack, who had a long-running webcomic called Validation, which told what it was like to be a trans woman and things I'd never considered, like, oh God, which bathroom do I go to? Things like that suddenly become your reality when you have a change of life of that sort. And so the slice of life market is out there, and I know they also have that very much in Japan. Manga covers every subject you could ever think about having. So there, this is
So,
something
so
that can
I
be
have
out
a
there.
question. I have a question,
Yes,
Bracey. So it's like a
yes.
website that is like a graphic novel, but like a video thing or like a cartoon in the website, right?
They're comics. They're comics. They're panels, no animation. It's like long running graphic novels. A popular site is called Webtoon, and
Webtoon. I'm going to write it down. Webtoon.
you'll probably find a lot of slice of life type stuff there. But it goes into everything. Some of the comics that I read online are fantasy, science fiction, and of course superheroes. Because being American, I grew up like all the superheroes. That's our major contribution to the comic space. But yeah,
Thank
you can
you.
find them on stuff like that, and I can't remember the other site I go to right now. But yeah, Webtoon is a good one. There's a whole lot of really interesting um, non superhero sort of stories being told, everything from comedy to drama. It just runs the gamut, anything you'd want
Very
out there.
interesting.
And it's just like with a manga, and I think people who grew up getting into manga were influenced by that, because in manga you don't just have like the battle manga where like, oh, this guy is going to fight this guy. There's so many of those types of manga, but there's manga about fishing, there's manga about tennis playing, there's manga about playing pachinko, for goodness sake, where they're playing their little slot machine. So there's definitely a market out there, and there seems to be a hunger for that, because I think at some point after 80 years of superheroes, and I love superheroes, I will always love superheroes, I think people just end up wanting more, and that's what's led manga to be popular, and that's what led these web comics to be popular. And with all luck, this will lead your particular ventures to be popular as well. This is a good start, I think.
I hope so. I am very happy and excited, and I'm going to travel to the state August 2nd to August 13th. So I open to have more interviews to meet people about the book. So I am super excited because I told you it's my first time, and
Mm.
I think that this graphic novel can give a lot of things to the public when you read it, because they can see themselves in the book, or they can learn from the mistake from the others, or from the situation, the environment of the others that don't happen to them. So I think it's very interesting. When I told you before, when you read the book, you can learn from this situation. So I hope so that this will be a good book from the Americans too.
I would actually like to see, because your life has been so interesting. This was just a little tidbit. I would actually like to see this expanded into a much larger volume. Your story in
Next
particular.
year, Bracey, next
Excellent.
year, I'm going to tell David, next year.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I look forward to it. You know what? That seems like a pretty good place to end. Patricia, thank you so much for being here with us on Comic Crusaders today. You've been a real pleasure to talk to you. I love your passion and your energy, your
Thank
optimism,
you.
and most of all, your courage. So thank you once again.
So Thank you to you because you made me feel super comfortable with very interesting questions. So thank you very much to Alex for being there to Comic Crusaders. So it's my pleasure. And if you need something when you come to Spain, I'm going to prepare for you a paella for you and for
Oh,
Alex.
I would love that.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. You know where we're at, Comic Crusaders. And of course, we have the information for Patricia. Please contact her, especially if you can help with her projects in Uganda and
Yes.
elsewhere. And thank you all so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.